Welcome to the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup Highlight Show. We've reached week 14 and we have a blockbuster lineup. 15 world titles in this group, 6 for Mick Hill, 1 for Phil Harrison in the headline group, and then 8 between Emma Cunningham and Amy Beacham, 4 apiece. Christy Caulfield and Connor Tracy look a dangerous partnership, and Tom Church and Jamie McAuley complete the lineup. On to our first match then, and it's Caulfield and Tracy that made the better start up against Beacham and Cunningham. We join the match in frame 2.
I think Christy should take an awful lot of confidence in the last time we saw him on a Monday night in the singles in that Champions League. He was absolutely awesome. Breaks dry, though, here in his first singles frame up against the Wookiee Emma Cunningham. And, I mean, we saw in that match in particular, the last match of the night, it was him versus Jack Whelan, and he ripped off 3 frames in no time whatsoever. If he gets into a bit of a flow state, he's so good to watch. Really can just rattle through and make the game look so frustratingly easy. He's one of those sorts of players.
Yeah, he almost plays a lot on instinct and just can fly at times. But it's Emma Cunningham that gets first chance in this frame, and it's a pretty decent one once again. She was in Ireland last week for the World Championships, and she was very hurt when she lost out in the semi-finals to Barbara Taylor, who went on to win her 2nd title. I know Emma put a lot of... she went over there with a lot of belief to take down that title once again, and you know, she just didn't really turn up in the semi-finals, but that's largely down to the fact that Barbara just played probably her best match of the whole tournament. She was fantastic in the semi-finals, and we haven't seen a huge amount of Barbara Taylor with Ultimate Pool, but I'm excited that she's going to be part of the women's series in 2023. Like so she's definitely going to be going in next year with hopes of going very well in that women's series. She's certainly one that's got the potential to take down the titles and potential to be the #1 come the end of the year. Both Amy and Emma will be in the series as well. Amy's currently #2. She could finish the year as #1, but she needs a few things to go her way with Harriet, who currently holds the #1 position. Emma's not had the best of women's series so far this year. She did win the mini series earlier, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, but it was an unranked event.
I think what that will have done, though, for Emma is just giving herself a little bit of confidence. Such a super player. But when you get very, very used to winning, when that all of a sudden dries up, it's very easy for your confidence to get knocked a little bit.
She said after winning that title, though, what she actually remembered, what she told herself before she'd won the tournament was just to remind herself this game's fun and that she's there to enjoy it and not beat herself up too much. And because she's put herself out there and played on the Pro Series this year, she's had to take some results that she's not used to taking. She's had to take some tough ones and some losses. So
and she's taken some absolute heartbreakers as well. I think she's had at least 2 or 3 deciding frame heartbreaks.
Absolutely. She's just let the cue ball run here. It's gone a couple of rolls too far. She wanted to leave plenty of angle so she could just drift down the table into perfect position. So she's having to leave distance on this yellow. And also she has to be really careful here because the cue ball is not going to be far away from the red on the left-hand side. If it catches that, she won't get on the one at the bottom. She needs to slide by the red. This is very tough. Oh, so well cued. So well cued. Had to get that right in the heart of the pocket to miss the red, and she did.
That's such a good shot. The Wookiee's got that in the locker. It's the one thing that she can really pride herself on, Emma Cunningham. Can she get the job finished up here? Yes, she can. It's one thing she prides herself on.
She really has. And you mentioned her break.
It's so good.
In my opinion, she's got the best break in the ladies' game.
How on earth is that dry? Can anyone tell me? Answers on a postcard, please.
It is just a brilliant break, and it's consistent as well. She flushes it time and time again. Huge power through the pack.
It's that technique, isn't it? It really is. That's what you sort of almost describe as a textbook break in a way. Really drives the cue through the bed of the table. And almost a golden break there for Amy, but alas, not a single ball down. And just look at the way these have come out. Really has come out so well. Connor's going to take reds here. And he wants to get into that red straight away. That's a lovely shot just to open everything up. He wants to be on his next ball, though.
Oh, he hasn't landed here. That's come out very awkward
it's
indeed.
About the one spot on the table he wouldn't have a pot on. Yeah. Well, a simple pot on. That's really unlucky because he's played a lovely shot, just bumped that red out. Does it go? Yeah, he's cutting it into the middle.
Middle. It does go in the middle. This is a trickier shot than he wants. He's got control of the cue ball as well. Yeah, and he put so much effort into controlling the cue ball, he misses it thick.
Yellows are certainly trickier. That cluster up to the top left of the table needs a solve.
They are trickier, but Amy will just be thrilled to get to the table because she had looked at that layout after the break and thought that might not happen. Now, how does she get into this frame? Can't see a finish. You need a cannon to the cluster top left, but you've got nothing to do that with.
The only way you can sort of go into them is if you maybe land close to top cushion, but that's difficult to get there.
Yeah, and if you try and go into them from the bottom, that's really tough. You could maybe, if you had a right angle on the one to the bottom left-hand corner, screw up into them. It'd be a big enough target, but it wouldn't be guaranteed to be on anything. Certainly doesn't have the angle now.
The good news as well, if you've never seen Amy or Emma play, they are two of the most attacking players you could ever wish to watch. Don't really play too much safe. Amy will go for these, but she'll back herself to make them.
It's not the greatest angle. She hasn't got an angle to go into them too much power, but I do think she can get across to that side of the table. She'd love to come into these from two cushions, but I'm not sure she can quite get enough side on. You can see she got the side on there, but it takes so late with the power she had to hit that with. If she was just that hint straighter on it, it would have been better.
Is she trying to line up a 3-ball plant here? I don't think the 2-ball's on because she's at the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
Does it go as a 3?
You might have been one that you could squeeze, but I don't think you could squeeze it that far. I think she's in real trouble here. Two cushions. Does it thread the needle through the reds?
This could be some shot.
It won't be far away, you know.
How's this? How is that? What
Have
a shot,
have a bit
Amy
of that.
Beacham.
Wow.
What about that?
You couldn't come out any better than that. That is brilliant.
What a shot from Champs that is.
And that's come out okay as well. Could have gone wrong when she got the double kiss, but it hasn't. Just needs to control the cue ball back onto the bottom one of the two as we look now, which sounds easy, but it can go wrong. You want to try and get, you don't want to be too thin on it, and then sometimes you can overhit this and be behind a red, so just got to be careful. And ended up coming up a little bit thin on this, so it's a very thin clip now, which means the reds in the middle of the table actually play really big here. Yeah, she's almost going to have to pick a window through the reds to try and get to that 8-ball. She doesn't need to get close to the 8-ball, which I don't think she can get below the reds.
Big shot.
Yeah, in the end, got the cut all wrong.
I think she was playing it with so much side. It's just throwing the pot off. And these reds are absolutely sitting.
Shame there for Amy.
Yeah, it really is. But Connor will be sat in his chair thinking, well, this is the finish that I thought I was going to get a few minutes ago. He played a really nice shot, landed really tough. This was the finish that he always thought he was going to get. So there, referee Orich indicating the 15-second shot clock now beginning. I can't imagine Connor's going to run into too much trouble with that for these. Having said that,
I think he's okay. He can get to the one just about to the right centre. Maybe just has to bend it a fraction. Well, the fact he's looking for an alternative tells me that he's not on it.
Cushion off the yellow. That's a really nice recovery, especially as he only gave himself 4 seconds to play it.
How casual was that?
Yeah, super casual. It's a lovely little visit to the table, this from Connor Tracy. Once again, landed in just about the only position on the table where he could be awkward. And that one was close to missing. He knows it as well. That one was never going to. 2-1 then, Caulfield and Tracy.
Christy Caulfield and Connor Tracy won the next Scotch frame with a break clearance, and that was enough for the win as the clock ran out in the 5th frame. On to our second match then, and group favourites Hill and Harrison against Church and McAuley.
It's McAuley on the break. And that'll do. That will do very nicely. Okay then, boys. First split. It's a pretty nice one.
I have to say I respect the cup break. Mick Hill's one of the big players against it. So when you're playing against Mick Hill, throw in a cup break or two, just to needle him a shade, shall we say, and especially when they come out as nice as this.
So red's the choice.
Yeah, he could have gone either way there. I think the yellow above the right centre pocket has probably led them to go reds.
I think the reds are set as a plant here to the bottom corner, which helps as well.
Yeah, they look dead set centre straight, but even if they're not, there's enough big enough gap. But if they're not straight, you want to get right behind it. You could, if you wanted to, drop this in and then just play. Well, they're going to play the cannon from there. I didn't like the cannon from there because
for that reason,
you're going down. You're not guaranteed. I would have rather have dropped that in, use a thick, the straight part of the pocket, and then if you did need to play a cannon, just play the one down the cushion and bump into it that way, and you're almost guaranteed to be on the other one to the bottom of the table. Now they're actually in a little bit of bother, although this still clips back, so they can recover.
Yeah, that yellow being over the pocket was almost a little bit of insurance there for Tom Church. And they're in decent shape here.
Yeah, you feel like one more good shot. You can go a couple of different ways here. There's no, I wouldn't say there's one way better than the other. I can make a case if they were a little bit straight on this for going up the table now, clearing the two at the top, leave the one at the bottom for last. But you could also, if you got straight in on the one to the bottom left now, it all connects up because you can go to top right corner and then you're out. So, but they had to be straight on it. But they missed the pot anyway. Yeah.
You can't miss.
It wasn't the cleanest. Obviously, they've missed, so it's not the cleanest visit to the table. But as in, it was looking a little raggy before they got to the miss, as it was.
Okay.
And the yellow that I mentioned was part of the reason why they didn't go for yellows. Is not a huge problem for these two because you've already looked at Phil come round and have a look at the plant. So get top side of that yellow, drop it in to the bottom right-hand corner as a plant, makes it easier. If they decided to play on it down the cushion, they're good enough to land perfect on it because they've got a couple of balls to do that with. So they've got options. And they've also got the cannon out if they want it as well. Beautifully played.
And Jay McAuley just had a little look there to Tom Church as if just to say, yeah, that's what we're up against, isn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome to big school, boys.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You're playing against two of the best. You get in these matches, it's a race to 4 or 20 minutes. You've got to take your chances because these guys are going to take theirs. Although, having said that, that's not a particularly good shot Mick Hill's just played. Yeah,
that's probably the worst shot that Mick's played in 2022, I think. He tries to slide by that red. They're still fine here. They'll work things out okay. Make no mistake, that'll irritate them.
The last time Mick Hill was on this table, it was in the Players' Championship, beating Mark Allen in the Players' Championship group final. And he missed one pot in 29 frames of pool. Let's just take that in for a second. One pot in 29 frames is incredible.
Yeah, he was frightening that weekend.
And he hasn't got the cue ball going yet, though. He keeps leaving Phil Harrison a little bit dirty here. I was about to say, and it probably doesn't. It's the reason he didn't miss. He only missed one pot was because he wasn't leaving himself anything tough. But he's certainly leaving Phil Harrison tough here.
Yeah, Phil's got all the right in the world to say to Mick Hill here. Come on, mate, any chance? Another tough shot for the farmer. Great recovery.
It is and it isn't. To get top side of that yellow is going to be tough, and now he hasn't got an angle to get on the 8 ball. Does he try and swing it round 3 cushions, avoid the red, and get? He's got a massive window. I don't see what else he can do, to be honest with you.
There you go. And dead straight into the middle pocket then for Phil Harrison. Super visit to the table from Phil in particular, bailing out his old mate on a couple of occasions.
Mick Hill followed that up with a break clearance in the next to make it 2-0. We join his partner Phil Harrison at the table halfway through frame 3.
Yeah, he's given Phil a shot to play, that's for sure. And Phil is one of those players who, in an ideal world, he would say he'd prefer to have much, much longer at the table than 30 seconds, certainly much longer than 15.
Oh, you could see Mick begging for that ball to pull up. The plan was to play on the double, and then when you play on the double, you know, if he gets the cue ball level with the yellow, he plays a double and plays a cannon at the same time. He's on the double, but I'm not sure he can develop. No, he may not have actually. He may have gone half a roll too far for the double even, so just pulls it back with another safety. It's a clever pull this from Phil.
It's a decent shot. It's percentage pull, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a one cushion escape, and if Tom Church gets it, he'll go close.
Needs to hit a cushion.
Just.
Great.
He's had a rub there.
Great result.
He has had a right result.
Important that Phil hits here and hits the yellow that's in the open. Don't hit the yellow by the 8 ball. It's the one in the open.
Yeah, that's Phil Harrison's ace in the hole, really. He's fine on time. It's a great shot.
I think he has to go here. He can pot this. Okay, he really could have done with hitting that firmer and get the cue ball down to the middle of the table, so he could have played a cannon on the yellow and 8 ball. He can't do that now.
Yeah, he's got natural position on the reds, but the 8 ball doesn't go anywhere.
Well, what do you do here? I mean,
thin clip and hope for some kind of cannon.
I don't think the thin clip's on. It's ultra thin. Slow drop in the top corner. To his credit, he makes it. So one cushion. Does the 8? Can he get into it enough to make the 8 ball in the left, bottom left? No. You can tell by the way he's looking here. So he's thinking
left middle.
Left middle, top right corner. What's he got? Right centre.
What a shot.
Oh,
wow. Wowee. Tom Church, that's a little bit special. That is a little bit special.
There's no hand of apology, although he has turned around. I don't believe he's playing it in that pocket, just going by reaction.
That huge moment was too little too late because the Hill-Harrison partnership made a ball off the next break and were able to run the clock down for the win. On to match 3, where the 2 losers of our first 2 matches do battle. Beacham and Cunningham won the opening frame, but Jamie McAuley has ball in hand in frame 2.
Big visit to the table for Jamie McAuley here. His partnership lost the opening match. Now this is his chance to win this frame, go level, get themselves, if he doesn't clear here, you feel like he's going to lose the frame, and 2-0 down, they'll be in a real world of trouble. So huge visit, really.
Yeah, he's put the cue ball behind the line here. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. This is a tough shot he's taking on here. This is big. And it's not going to drop. Could have played the one over the pocket, got back out, then played that one down. If it goes in, of course, it's a lovely choice of shot. But now that it hasn't.
How about that?
I think Emma would have preferred that to stay on the table, as good as that looked. But didn't really help her by it going in.
Yeah, she's just got to keep on digging now. That one's gone in. She's just looking at playing the plant here down the bottom right and taking that red out the table.
I think
just
she's
taking
thinking
command of that section.
Yeah, I think she's thinking bottom cushion into the red and trying to get the yellow going towards the pocket. It's highly unlikely to make it, but might just make it messy and down in that corner. She doesn't really have any good safety options on. Highly unlikely to make it, but good drop. Oh, that was close. That was really close, you know. Oh, what a fluke.
Sit back down, Jamie lad. How about that? Paging Aaron the pool shark. That's your next recreation, son.
Yeah, good luck. Only a shame from Emma and Amy's point of view that Emma wasn't able to make that one along the bottom cushion, because that fluke would have been huge, because the next two were there. The red still sneaks into the bottom left, so this is still just wide open here for Jamie. It's go time. Mop these up, get to 1-1. Oh, Miss Plant, that is not good. I think Emma will just try and get straight in on top right here, rather than trying to get good position on it. No point risking getting behind a red or the 8 ball. I thought she might get closer to the yellow than that, but the angle's good. Hammered in.
Never in doubt from Emma Cunningham. Super visit to the table from the Wookiee.
Tom Church made a break clearance to pull one frame back, and they're back at the table in the next Scotch frame.
Yeah, I like that from Amy. Just slow it down. You've got 2 minutes 30 left. You're 2-1 in front. There's no, don't make it easy for them. If they go for a finish there, they leave a minute to pot 4 balls. It's just not worth it.
Oh, what a shot.
Oh, that's something else, mind. That is
How
something
do you like
else.
That? What a shot from Jamie McAuley, that is. They might need a couple more, but that is an absolute stunner. 2 minutes left to tie it up. Cannon's horrible. All right, Jamie McAuley, as you were, find another one.
He's come around to see if he can clip it back to the top left. It's very, very thin, but I do think it might just squeeze by the yellow. Oh, it squeezed off the yellow.
Is he on the 8 ball?
Oh, that flick helps.
Yes, they are. Wowee. How on earth have they won this frame from that visit? Tom Church and Jamie McAuley are level. That was a little bit special.
Final score would end 2-2 as the clock ran out in the next frame. It keeps both pairs in the competition, but only just. Moving on to match 4, where the winners of our opening 2 games meet. Hill and Harrison won the opening frame, and we join Mick Hill breaking in frame 2.
Oh, he's hitting that break well today, but it's going to be dry.
Oh, what a chance this is. What a chance this is. Yeah, absolutely right. Mixed flush that.
Yeah, what's he fancy here? I quite like the reds. You could make a case on yellows, but then the 3 yellows at the bottom get a little bit awkward. 8 ball is guarded by yellows, but it's not guarded that well by the yellows. You could play red to bottom left and just leave yourself a thin clip on the 8 ball. If you go yellows, then it is how you deal with the ones at the bottom. The one nearest the 8 ball being the biggest problem, but if you can land nicely on it. But I like reds. Yeah, I never really thought there was much mileage in the yellows, to be fair. But
Yeah,
I do think
the only awkward balls on reds per se connect really nice with a ball that you can't miss. That's the nice thing about it.
100%. And important they leave either the red by his hand or the red by his elbow as his last ball for me. maybe. What's his plan here then? I thought he'd go right centre and then the two down the right-hand side and leave the other. Basically, if you go right centre, top right, and then you've got the one down the bottom right-hand corner and get on the one to the left centre, and if you're straight in, you're out. But yeah, he's just going to leave the one. Yeah, just for a second he was looking at a few options that were confusing me, but he is leaving the one to the bottom left last.
Yeah, which is the ball.
Which is the ball, yeah, straight in, and you're absolutely fine. You are going to be thin on the 8 ball, but you know, you're going to be nice enough. In a way, it was quite nice to get rid of the one into the left centre a couple of shots ago, because it means he's got much more margin of error when he plays the one to the bottom right, rather than having to come, you know, top it through to get straight on the one to the left centre. Now he's got, you know, he's got natural, which is, I quite like the way he's thought this one through, actually.
Yeah, and if ever you listen to one of the greatest to ever do it, Mick, he'll talk about the game. He'll talk to you about the importance of playing with the natural angles. He'll have watched on here, a little bit irritated that he's hit such a good break and come up dry, but plenty to like about this visit to the table from Connor Tracy. Really, really clean. Super clearance that.
Phil Harrison won the next frame to put the 2 world champions back in front.
Cool.
He's having no run with this break because he's hitting it great.
I know Mick likes to talk about the old pool gods every now and then. I don't know what he's done to upset them.
If the red sneaks in the top right, then the reds are gone here. If it doesn't, he may give some consideration to yellows. But he have an opening yellow. Tough one in the right centre. Looks like they're still eyeing up the reds here. Yellow at the bottom would be tricky to get on as well, but if that red doesn't sneak in top right, then it does need to be dealt with.
Good look to do that right now.
Well, they think it goes the way they played this. They could have cannoned into it there. So they must have played for this to go. It's very tight.
Go cushion first off the yellow, I think.
Even that, it just looks tough.
It certainly does.
Really
Controlled
nicely
that
done.
Really well, yeah. Great shot.
Didn't try and do too much with the cue ball. Didn't try and force it. Just sort of played it and just let it float along that cushion and drop in the corner. Really like the way they played that. Not so much about that one, but they couldn't hope for it to come out any better.
Cool, hand up of apology, and quite rightly so. Christy, that was a little cheeky. Got away with one there, goodness me. Wow, who have you got now? 3 minutes left. And Christy Caulfield and Connor Tracy will square things back up. 2 each. Yeah, which is, I mean, for us, perfect.
Absolutely. But then 3 minutes is quite a long time in Ultimate Pool World. If this comes out open, then every chance to have a winner of this frame, and who knows beyond that. I mean, they have come out. Look at this split. Look at this split here.
Yellow's the choice then for Christy Caulfield.
Right now, right this second, the big favourites for tonight, Phil Harrison and Mick Hill, are in big trouble. Because if they lose this match, there's nothing they can do. Night will be in Christy's and Connor's hands. And this is a great chance for
Do you almost
Christy.
at this stage, in awareness of how good a chance it is, try and long it out a little bit?
Yes and no. They've still got to deal with the one by his hand, so it's not. There's still work here. I don't think he should be considering the clock for me. I think he just has to try and find the finish. Maybe if you've got more experience out there in this arena, maybe you can start thinking about the clock. But for me, it's just get the finish here. That's nice. the positional shot onto the 8 ball is going to be tricky. I would have wanted that one in the middle of the table maybe to be the ball to do it with, and it now can't be because of the way he's gone through this finish. So it's going to be right centre. Not guaranteed to have a good angle on it. Has to almost risk going behind the red to leave the angle to go up the table for it. Straight's no good. And has that come out okay? Well, slight hold up of the hand because he's got an angle to just top this through onto the 8 ball. This is not how he played it, but he'll take it.
Yeah, he certainly will. A minute left for a potential comeback. But Christy Caulfield for the lead. Job done. Well, well, well. Been feeding off scraps in this one.
Oh, that was unlucky.
Like those.
You could just sense that coming, even though it never looked like it was going in. It was going so close that it just felt like it could get squeezed. And look at how these have come out.
Oh, McAuley's face says 1,000 words.
It's match over because he has got to use the clock here. Just play 2 shots and match is done.
Well, we're robbed of the chance of seeing Phil Harrison sprint around the table and try and clean these up. I think he'd have gone very, very close. But this is a massive win for Christy Caulfield and Connor Tracy, and it is now in their hands. Magic night then, potentially for the underdogs. Christy Caulfield and Connor Tracy.
McAuley and Phil Harrison are straight back in action and needed a win to put any pressure on the Caulfield and Tracy partnership. They lost the opening frame, but McAuley won frame 2 to tie the scores up as we join Amy Beacham in frame 3.
So Beacham on the break, 9.5 to play.
Once again, doesn't hit the break as well as she can. Almost a little bit of frustration in the way she's gone about this. Doesn't quite, obviously we're seeing it in super slow-mo here, but just didn't quite give it as much care as she can. Mishit the front ball again, but still huge amount of power. She definitely has the as I say, the biggest break in the ladies' game for me.
Yeah, when it's on, it's as good as anybody's, really.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a nice cannon. May play another one now. Depends how she sees it. It's the yellow. So the 2 yellows on the right-hand side, the top one goes. The other yellow then could be left alone. She could kick it out now. Yeah. If she gets that full ball, the only reason I said she could is if she got that full ball, she could have made it a little bit awkward for herself. But now that she's got that one out, she can now kind of plot her route. The one at the bottom of the table will be the one to attack as quickly as you can here. Potential to come across for it now. No real issues. We're waiting a visit. The only slight issue is the 8 ball. You'd want to play from the bottom of the table because it goes. So what I'm thinking is if she goes left centre now and then the one at the bottom of the table, which she has the perfect angle to do that, you connect to the one at the top with the other one in the top half of the table. So that basically means your last ball's now going to be top left. You could play on the 8 ball to the bottom left-hand corner, but if you want to get onto the centre pocket, then the cue ball's moving a long way. Well, just move it nearer the pocket to take some of that out of it, but I don't think that's quite what she wanted to do. I'm not sure if she's straight enough on this yellow to the top right now to get good position or not.
Yeah, she potted that last yellow thick, which is why she went so close to that 8 ball.
Yeah, she's going to try and get the cue ball back to the middle of the table rather than getting to the top cushion. I don't think she can get to top cushion, so not guaranteed here. Has it come far enough? Going on body language, yes.
That'll do.
That's fine. It drops in. Slight little bit of frustration on her face there, but this is fine. can just drop this one in without too much risk.
Lovely shot from Amy Beacham.
That sort of helps fill and make a fraction in terms of puts the yellow into an awkward position and semi-opens up those reds, leaves them in a way where they can open them up, but they still have to deal with the one at the bottom of the table. I suspect they'll be happy enough with that just as a double last shot. Mick says worry about that later. Very un-Mick Hill-like comment, really. Well, tries to develop it.
Oh,
now that's worse. Now that is worse.
Oh, they're on it.
Oh, you could pop the 8-ball here.
What a shot. Are they on the next red? No.
They got a bad kick there.
How's that for vision, he says. That's one of the most impressive flukes I've seen in a very long time. And it's not ended up in a pot, but look at where he's left that cue ball.
Tactical genius.
That is amazing. Great effort from Emma, actually, you know. Not left anything easy here.
Can he just get to the side of the cue ball? No, he can't. Has to bridge. Oh, what a shot.
That's a phenomenal pot from Phil Harrison.
Come on then, Mick. Big positional shot here to at least give them some faint hope of winning the final frame. It won't be them to break if they can get out here. Well, 8-ball off yellow then.
What a shot, Phil.
What an out.
Huge bit of luck for Mick Hill, but they didn't have time to force the win, and the match finishes all square, meaning that Christy Caulfield and Connor Tracy are through, regardless of the result from their last match.
Up against Tom Church and Jamie McAuley, and they are playing with zero pressure. The job is done in this group of all groups. What a performance it's been from Christy and Connor. And they get to just enjoy this one. Amy Beacham and Emma Cunningham holding Hill and Harrison to a draw in the last match means that there is nothing anyone can do to stop Christy and Connor qualifying through to the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup second stage. And they just get to enjoy their evening from here on out.
Yeah, they might entertain us here and fit. Well, okay, maybe not, because Connor plays the worst shot either of them have played all night long.
That also could happen. We've seen that happen before.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the way they laid out there, I was thinking, okay, they're going to get off to a fast start here, and who knows, we could be in for some fun, and they could show off for the final match. But yeah, it's job done for this pairing. They'll be back for the second stage.
We saw that happen on one of the weeks, I think, in last season's competition, where we saw a fast qualification, and it can happen that with actually no pressure, your body almost just relaxes entirely and you end up playing some terrible stuff.
I think that might have happened for Team Blessed, actually. I think Luke and
that might be
Dom
what I'm thinking of, yeah.
It might have happened to them. But it doesn't happen that often. It's quite a rare thing. There's normally something on the line in the final match. Tom and Jamie would love to round out tonight with a win. Okay, it won't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but for two players battling out in the Challenger Series, every single time you get a taste of this environment can only help you when you go forward with your pool career. So if they can play some good stuff between them here and maybe get a victory.
Great shot there from Tom Church.
Yeah, it will, you never know when that can pay dividends.
And one zip in the blink of an eye.
Church and McAuley won the next two to make it 3-0, and they're breaking off in frame 4.
But they'll be annoyed they didn't put the pressure on here in this match. And yeah, we can't. I'm not really one that looks at it and goes, well, look at the way this match has gone. They would have ended up in a 6-red shootout, because it's a different match. And I'm not taking anything away from the way that Tom Tom Church and Jamie McAuley have played here at all, but it's a different match when there's completely different types of pressure out there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean it would always played out this way, but they didn't put the pressure on, which will annoy them.
Been really impressed with these two though tonight. Connor, we've seen a little bit more of, I think it's fair to say, in recent months, and has impressed me whenever I've seen him. But I mean, likewise, Christie. A really, really talented player.
They both are. I'm always impressed when I see both of these guys play. Very rarely see their level drop too low. Big key, they've both got a lot of belief in their own ability.
Quite right too. Lovely visit to the table from Christie and Connor.
A nice clearance, but it was too late as Church and McAuley wrapped up the win in the next frame. Connor Tracy and Christie Caulfield won't mind though, as they are through to the second round of the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup.